What is going on, guys? Jack here. Welcome back to episode 17 of The Rise of a Nation, here with FC Edmonton in the Canadian Premier League. Of course, we are back. We are midway through season number 3 here. If you missed the start of season episode last time out, do go check it out. Of course, we have a new player on the block in Marcel Ruiz. He signed a new contract and we managed to get rid of the release clause. Yes, that was the big thing that I wanted to do between that last episode and this episode. So that is one big thing ticked off the tick box. There was something that didn't get ticked off the tick box, and that was the fact that Daniel Lovitz, he didn't get his Canadian citizenship right away. And we were over the foreign player limit. So someone had to be a casualty, and unfortunately, Carlos Mora, the player who I decided was most likely to be the least likely to be upset. Does that make sense? Out of all of our foreign players, he was the one who I felt like if I dropped him just for the spring season, because we're over the limit with Lovitz not getting his Canadian citizenship through, he wouldn't be too upset about it. He was a little upset about it, bless him. He came and had a word with me. We've told him, yeah, look, don't worry, you're going to be re-registered straight away. And of course he will be when the summer transfer window opens in just a couple of weeks' time. It's really not that far away. Of course, the spring season is very short, but a little bit more of a juggling job there. Anyway, if we look at the schedule, you can see here, of course, last episode we beat Pacific FC 6-1. Today, we have actually 2 legs. We're going to do the 2 legs of the Canadian Championship, where we are going to be taking on Halifax. And then I think, depending on if there's much riding on it, we're going to come back next episode for the game against them in the Canadian Premier League. Away from home, not going to be an easy one, that one. And of course, over the next 2 episodes, I'm very keen to get revenge for what happened at the end of last year. But, well, let's have a look at these results since you were last here. We took on Forge in our first game. A 2-1 win here. A good little performance. Sarkaria with a goal for us, and Daniel Lovitz also getting a goal. A good little fight back this one. We went a goal down. We dominated the game. They had one shot all game and it found the back of the net. Danny Lovitz in the end scored. And, he also earned the Man of the Match award. And, well, you can see, looking at him here, what a player he is. It's a real shame that, he didn't get his Canadian citizenship through straight away. But so far, in 5 appearances, his debut was definitely the best of his performances. But I think he's got a lot still to give us. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he can develop out on that left-hand side for us. Anyway, the next game we had, if we just look here, was against Valor, and it was a 0-0 game. Statistically, we completely dominated. They didn't have a shot all game, and it was a similar story against Cavalry. They had a few shots against us in this derby, but unfortunately we couldn't break through. You can see Tenguia picking up Man of the Match. He's been a real rock at the back as the player, especially since, of course, he came in to be captain for us. Really can't understate just how good he's been for us this year. Off the back of those 2 0-0 draws, we did keep another clean sheet, but this time he managed to score 3 goals. And to be honest, the goals over the last few matches really, they haven't been good. It's been very, very scrappy. This was no exception. Liam Fraser's goal somehow got over the line. Solomon doubled our lead. 2 free kicks. I think they were both delivered by Nick Daly into the danger area. And, speaking of scrappy goals, the last one was no exception. It was a deflected effort by Sarkaria off Roger Thompson. It ended up in the top corner. Keeper had absolutely no chance. I did feel a little bit bad for him, to be fair. And, in our most recent game here, you can see we took on Pacific FC. Not quite the emphatic 6-1 we had against them last time out, but a 3-1 win in this one. Nick Daly got us off to a flyer. Opare then had a just really scrappy goal that somehow made it over the line. We're not going to complain. They did grab one back through Hassam Abdulmuni. Mumini. It's a big name for him, and he was a big player and he turned up big for them to get a goal back, and at that point you worried, but luckily for us, Saint Duck, not with the finest of finishes, it was a bit scrappy, but he found the back of the net and we breathed a bit of a sigh of relief. And that kind of brings us to where we are now, which is the Canadian Championship. If we just look at the league table here, you can see 6 games played so far. Halifax have played a game more than us and are actually trailing us, you can see, by 4 points. Our big rivals so far this split have been York 9, which might sound a little bit surprising, but you can see here Gattas has been leading the line for them. He has got 3 goals, and Ingham has picked up 3 clean sheets as well in 6 games for York 9. So they're looking surprisingly good. I mean, if we just look at them last year, They were down in 5th, so yeah, they're already starting to bounce back. You can see here the spring table. If we look at the overall table as well, they got seven wins in 28. That's actually atrocious when you look at it like that. This current year, they've already got 4 wins. They're already halfway there, with less than a quarter of the season gone. So York 9 bouncing back well and looking kind of good. You can see, just looking at a little bit of sad team news, Kareem Moses has been out with an injury. Another one of our players in his 30s getting a longer term injury. You can see here, problems with his knees. He's been out for a long time with it as well. 4 weeks currently, still potentially another 3 to 4 weeks that he's going to be missing. So a big miss for us there. But besides that, things are kind of looking okay. I had a rough idea of what I wanted our best starting 11 to be for this year. And it kind of revolved around the idea that we would have enough foreign player slots to kind of make stuff work and have more in the team. But with Lovett performing as well as he has, he's kind of just had to come in. I'm actually wondering, is he still classified as a foreign player? He's not, so that's good news. In fact, his paperwork only came through a week ago. But one issue I did have was, for a few of the games immediately after we left last episode, because Lovett wasn't considered homegrown or non-foreign, we couldn't play an optimal best 11, which was actually proving to be a little bit of a headache. I can't remember if Duck had signed his new contract last episode or if it was in the process of going through, but similar to Ruiz, we've got him locked down on a renewed contract. Obviously, it's just great to have our big players locked down for the foreseeable future. Anyway, let's get into our game here against Halifax. It's our first time playing them after that embarrassing defeat at the hands of them last time out. In terms of our team, we're going to go with this. We're going to go with Connor James in goal. Still playing ahead of Williams for us at the moment. I'm going to give Liam Fraser a run out here. He's in that point, where we want to offer him a new contract. I'm hoping that we can sign him potentially permanently from Toronto. That would definitely be the dream. His contract, you can see here, expires at the end of the season. So we're carefully monitoring his situation. I think we might even be able to offer him a contract come the start of July. Soria and Apare make up our centre-back. Soria not showing too much in the way of decline. Perhaps his physicals have fallen off a little bit. Recently turned 32. Kind of into the twilight years of his career, but still a very important player for us. Shandell Senior is going to play that ball-winning midfielder position for us. Ahead of him, we're going to go with Kay and we're going to go with Marshall. And the reason for doing that really is the fact that Deshays, Mora and Mossavat, all on international duty. The Canadian under-20s are currently playing in a World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. We can actually look at the under-20s World Cup here. You can see they've qualified from their group on 4 points. And while looking at their team here, you can kind of see the nationality, well, not the nationalities, but the leagues and the teams that these teams play for. Good to see us well represented. We've got Mossavat, Deshays and Can all featuring for us. Can's contract actually runs out at the end of the year. His potential, apparently he's close to fulfilling it. So I think he might be a player who we regretfully let go at the end of the year. But no, good to see Mossavat and Deshays playing well for us. And also you can see here Prince Amanda and Attardo, obviously two of our players out on loan, also representing the under-20s club, oh not under-20s club, under-20s national team on the big World Cup stage. Anyway, we've talked about Lovitz on the right. Ruiz on the right, signed his new contract. Hasn't got any assists since the first game of the season. Still an absolutely tremendous average rating, but I would love to see him put in a big performance today. Up top, we're going to go with Nick Daly and the Duck. Nothing too crazy going on here. Daly continuing to improve, much like he did last year. On the bench, we've got options. We've got Solomon, Lamotte, Telfer, Norman, Temguia, Edwini Bonsu, Sarkaria. Let's see how we get on. This, of course, only the first leg. We do have 2 league games between the first and second leg. We'll have a look at those games and what went down in them, of course, between matches here. But let's see what we can do. Halifax really have been our big rivals at this point. I feel like we are the 2 big dogs, the head honchos, the 2 teams who year on year are going to clash. And well, hopefully we can come out on top here, of course. It could have been an easier draw in the Canadian Championship to start things off here in the Voyagers Cup. But, well, ultimately we are going to have to knock out an MLS team more than likely at some point. So when we're coming up against league rivals, we can't complain too much. And we have to prove that we're worthy of taking on some of the big dogs of Canadian football. And that is exactly what we are going to try and do here. Anyway, 20 minutes gone. We've probably had the edge of play in terms of possession, but devoid of any real chances. Marshall wins the ball well there. Goes back to Fraser. Now with Soria. What's he going to do? All the way back to Connor James. We now look to build from the back. Apare spreads it to Ruiz, who puts in a fantastic ball down the line to Daly. Can he get there? He can, I think. He keeps it into Duck. Oh my gosh, that would have been such a lovely goal. Unfortunately, the header just over the crossbar, only by a whisker. We now have a set piece to deal with here. It's whipped in. That was a free header for Strafe. And you perhaps would have expected him to score that there, but mercifully for us, it's gone just over the crossbar. Alex Marshall now with a set piece hits it. Saved by Williams. Apparently Senior gets there. He's offside. I thought we were about to get a penalty, but no. He was offside for the rebound. Not a bad effort by Alex Marshall. Shandell Senior should feel disappointed to be offside there. But we're going to come again potentially. Duck wins it high up the pitch. Can he finish it? No is the answer. A crucial block put in there. I'm not even sure who it was who got that for Halifax, but that was absolutely massive. And, well, we're looking like we're going to go into half-time. I was about to say at 0-0, there could still be one last chance here. And we're the team in the attack. Kay here looks for Nick Daly. Finds Duck, who tucks it away. He's offside. It's a great finish for a player with only 7 or 8 finishing attribute wise. Well, what is Steve's? It's 8. It's gone up to 8, I feel like, recently. Has it gone up to 8? It's at 7.6. No, apparently it's been 8 forever. But that was a really nice finish. I mean, he looks in line to me. He looks in line. It's a shame, really, because of all the scrappy goals we've had. That would have been one of the nicest goals we've scored so far this year. The bar has been set a little bit low. We have been relying on set pieces. But, well, at half-time here, it is 0-0. Of course, away goals are a factor here, so the fact that we're keeping them held at home is good. We've had that one really kind of great opportunity. Yes, they've had more shots. They've had slightly less possession, but you'd have to say all the highlights have been in their half with us on the attack. And, well, we might have another here. Nick Daly heads it. Did Williams save that? That is a ridiculous stop by the Trinidadian kind of keeper between the sticks. He's managed to deal with it well. Might be a chance still here. Nope, there's not. I'm deluded. We all knew it. I knew it. You knew it wasn't going to amount to anything. And well, now we have to panic. Halifax have been on the back foot for large spells in this game. They're looking to bring the ball forward, although Lovitz wins it hugely. Can the Duck get to it? Apply some pressure. Kay wins it. Marshall takes it round his man, bringing the ball forward here, bearing down on goal. Gives it to Duck. Great first touch. Can he finish it? He can't. Oh, it was a grand opportunity. Unfortunately, smashed straight at the keeper. Kay's not had the best game, so I'm going to take him off and we're going to bring in Norman just to get some fresh legs in the midfield. I am wondering if maybe I need to look to bring Duck or Daly off. Maybe give Sarkaria a run out. We're going to stick with stick with our current team for now. Garcia bringing the ball out from this corner. Maybe they could hit us on the break here. Ruiz being called into some defensive duties, the young Mexican. Where's he going? He goes back to Connor James. I mean, for a second my heart was in my mouth, but we managed to deal with it just about, although they could be on the attack here. Yuma to Rampasad. All the way back to Assing. We are in trouble, although they are in trouble now. Nick Daly wins it. He's not got no one in support. Can he finish it? Williams has got to be in contention for man of the match if things stay at 0-0. He's been massive for them in goal. He's bailed them out again and again and again. We've had 3 clear-cut chances and a half chance. Shandell Senior, that's what we needed. A bolt from the blue. The defensive midfielder who sometimes he just can't help himself. Sometimes he loves to shoot and sometimes he scores goals like this. It's only his second of the season. It's cleared out to him. One touch to get out of his feet and then he just lashes it in. Williams gets some fingertips to it, but it wasn't a meaningful touch. Finally, we find the breakthrough. I was about to make a sub, but I think another highlight just started, so we'll wait and see what happens here. Yuma goes back to Langua, who is boxed in his own half. Gives the ball straight to Soria, who pings it forward. Norman mops up the pieces, gives it to Daly. Now with the Duck. Oh my gosh, it's hit the woodwork, hit the keeper on the back and gone narrowly wide. Right, I'll tell you what, let's make some changes here. I'm going to bring in Edwini Bonsu for Ruiz, who's struggling a little bit. And I'm going to take off... Alex Marshall and bring in Lamotte. Lamotte, benefiting in terms of being on the bench today due to some of the youngsters, Deshays and Mossavat, being called up for international duty. It's kind of made Lamotte the go-to option on the bench, and while we might need him, as Gutierrez has a free kick, we became well familiar with those last year, you might remember. But we lived to tell a tale on this occasion. While we might have another chance here. Nick Daly, was that the crossbar? It might well have been. That was a great opportunity again. There's no time left, but I would love us to get another. It feels like we deserve it. One goal would not be a bad performance, but a second goal feels like it's been on the cards for a long while. Can we find the breakthrough? 3 minutes left. Really, the priority is not to concede rather than to score again. Keeping a clean sheet at home in a competition where away goals matter could be huge. It would mean that a goal in the return fixture would see Halifax needing a bit of a miracle. They would need 3 goals at that point. But, well, we're planning far ahead here. We're going to need and look to get another goal here if we can. Senior to Lamotte. They're kind of having their own private game in the midfield right now. Love it to bring it forward. He's got the fax machine working. He's played it through. Duck looked offside there. He's finished it. It's not been given. That is a lovely little finish at the near post. Williams will feel disappointed to get beaten there. Nick Daly with the assist. And, well, there's been a few opportunities missed in this game, but between this goal here and the goal that was given offside, you'd have to say that Ducks look pretty formidable in front of goal. It's the second goal of the season for him, finally. And with that, we take a 2-goal lead into the return fixture, assuming that we can deal with this here. And, of course, we're going to concede with 32 seconds gone. The clean sheet that we were talking so fondly about has vanished. We have wet the bed under pressure. Connor James should have got there. Free header at the same time is disappointing. The referee should have blown his whistle 30 seconds sooner, we'll claim. Unfortunately, he didn't. And it's really just our own fault here. 2-1, it's going to finish here in the first leg. It's not a bad performance, but still much to be done in the second leg. Don't become complacent. The players love that team talk. You can see Blainville looking to cause an upset against Cavalry. That would be huge. They are a team who play outside of the Canadian Premier League. They play in the Premier League du Soccer du Quebec. And, well, fair play to them. They've won the competition the last 3 years. At the moment, they look like they could be on the cards for an upset. Whether or not they can pull it off, we will find out shortly. You can see that next game is going to be on the 19th, in over 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, we've got a few games here that could prove big. We'll see how we get on in them. And, well, I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, guys, so we are back here, and it is the second leg against Halifax. I'm really excited for this game. I want to continue the revenge streak that we seem to, well, hopefully be building up. If we can win this game today, we've got them in the league next time out. I mean, there is a real chance that we can do a lot of damage to Halifax over the next couple of game weeks and really set them back a little bit. Of course, there were actually some league games between the 2 fixtures. Just to look at them quickly, you can see the first in the El Clasico, a win against Cavalry FC. Mark Anthony K with the goal. It was pretty much the last kick of the game in the 93rd minute for us. And yeah, great little win there. And then we took on York 9, where we won 2-1. Alex Marshall got us off to a decent start from the penalty spot. He did actually miss a penalty prior, but had a pretty big gonads, I guess, to elect to step up again and have another go. And on the second time of asking, he scored. Amiobi got a goal for us. They did get a consolation back through Lincourt Joseph, but alas, 2 wins in a row leaves us in a really good spot. And as you can see here, looking at our season, with us having York, who we've just played, as our only rivals now to kind of really challenge us for the title, we will know that a win against Halifax next episode will guarantee us the spring title and, well, open up some opportunities potentially to rotate the team a little bit. But anyway, that's not why we're here. That's not why you're here. We're here for the game against Halifax. In terms of team selection, I've got a dilemma. International duties have come and gone, so we have had players away. on those, which did impact us a little bit in the last couple of games. That is something that we are going to be having to be wary of. You know, with us adding more international players, with us adding, you know, significant strength to our side, we are going to have fixtures that get moved around and we're going to have to deal with them. And we're also going to have players who just sometimes aren't available and, you know, we will have to have makeshift 11s. But in terms of the team for this game, I'm pretty happy with it on the whole. I'm just wondering if there's anything I want to change here, but I really don't think there is. Pretty much our full strength team available to us. You can see Mosavat is needing a rest, having been on international duty. You can see Osorio is coming back from injury. Moses, whose contract runs out at the end of the year, has had a few offers from various clubs. I think they were mostly in Finland. He didn't negotiate clauses with any of them, so clearly he wasn't happy with what they were offering. Still not sure if I want to renew his contract, really. I feel like, given his long-term injury, given the fact he is a little older, he doesn't really want to take a big wage cut. I feel like we're better off just not having him next year, which feels really harsh to say. But, well, we've had him this year, really. We've not relied on him at all. We've just not needed him in the team. And, well, we're going to be without him again today because, well, we have a team at our selection, which I'm pretty happy with. You can see Connor James in goal, Apare, Soria, Temguia. Then we get on to the exotic midfield of foreign players. Senior, Lovett, Marshall. Of course, Ruiz out on the right. And then up top, we are going to go with Duck. And we are, of course, going to go with his partner in crime, the smiling assassin. No, it's not Son. Danto scored for them. Right, I need to stop talking about stuff. We are going out as things stand because away goals are a factor here. So we do now have to score. It's kind of the nightmare start. 15 minutes gone. Halifax take the lead. It was Langwa on the left-hand side. Crossed it in and a nice little finish, to be fair, on the volley for Danto. But, well, we're going to be looking at Daly and Duck, aren't we? The double Ds to see what they can do for us up top. Kareem Moses, apparently he can cross the ball. Tell me something I don't know. Anyway, Gutierrez bring the ball forward here. Crosses it into Danto. Garcia with it again here. Crosses it back into Cox. And, well, Cox. It's 2-0 and 3-2 on aggregate. Should I be panicking? The sad reality is, with this competition and the league being the two competitions we're in this year, going out of this competition in the second round would be, well, disastrous. Probably doesn't quite cover how bad it would be. They're on the attack again here as well. Do I need to switch systems early? That's now what I'm thinking in the back of my mind. Garcia with it. Tucks it inside to Danto. Surely they're not going to score again. Cox hits it. Oh my god, he scored a worldie. He's actually scored a worldie. Alright, we're going to have to change systems. I'm in a little bit of a dilemma here because I think I'm going to take K off and bring in Chung. I think. A bit of a pickle is the fact I don't really want to take off Ruiz or Marshall, two very creative players. But Ruiz, unlike some of our other options out on the wing, can't play wing back. Anyway, we could have a chance immediately here. Daly can't get on the end of it though. Man, they've had 3 shots and they've all just flown into the back of the net. No clear-cut chances, no half chances. They've been clinical, have Halifax, but I do feel like, well, hard done by. Might be the best way of describing it. We are at the moment by kind of just playing the default cautious approach with this 5 at the back system. I feel like I've got to change it here in the second half. We've got to go on the front foot. Play more attacking, get the ball forward quicker. Man, this has been awful. I really felt like after the first leg we were in a great position. And we've got them in the league next. And I think it's away from home like this game, which doesn't fill me with optimism. We've not even had a shot on goal. Secunda narrowly hits it over for them. Apare's having a nightmare. Let's bring in Liam Fraser. I've got 1 change left. I'm going to bring in Sarkaria for the Duck. We've literally done nothing all game. I don't want to do opposition instructions. I want to do a shout and I want to demand more. They've got a set piece here. It's a free header. Cox. Oh my gosh, James. What a save that could turn out to be. I mean, what can you say about this? I'm going to have to change the system up a little bit more, I feel like. We're going to go with Marshall and Ruiz as two kind of attacking-minded centre mids. Senior's now on a booking. We've used all our subs. What has happened here? Oh my gosh, I'm actually livid. They're going to beat us again. We've not even... What has happened this game? It's just one of those games where we've not turned up. Who is... Marshall's now fouled a man in the box. I think we're going to be focusing on the league this year. I think we are. Cox gets his hat-trick. The former York 9 man. I've got my head in my hands. It's just one of those games where the team hasn't turned up at all. Just... Yeah, sometimes you have those games in football and Football Manager where your team just doesn't show up. And unfortunately for us, it's happened in this of all games. Man, Tenguia's on a 5.9, I noticed. It's actually atrocious. There's no way we're getting 3 goals here. We have got to wave goodbye to any hope of getting further in the Canadian Championship. The board are not going to be happy. Connor James holds on to that. Oh my... I hate Halifax. I've never heard of the city of Halifax or the town of Halifax in Canada until I started this series. Actually, that's a lie. I knew about your junior hockey team. But I don't like Halifax anymore. I just don't... Wow. I mean, fair play to them. They've turned up. They've put in a performance. We've had one clear-cut chance right at the end there, which we couldn't even take. I mean, do I need a plan B formation? Maybe I do. Maybe I need a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2 that we actually are able to resort to. I don't even know how... I'm gutted. I'm actually gutted that we've been hammered that badly. I mean, what can you even say off the back of that? I mean, the only silver lining is that if we can get a win against Halifax in the next game, or even just win our last game, which is against Forge, we guarantee ourselves the spring title and Forge are bottom. Next game, next episode, we'll find out how we do in those competitions. I mean, really, we need to be winning the spring split. It would open up an opportunity to rotate things around. But... wow, I'm annoyed. I genuinely am annoyed. I don't quite know what to say. I guess we'll be back in 3 days' time to try and bounce back, and hopefully we can do a little bit better. It's not often I'm lost for words. I definitely am today. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. I'm not a happy bunny. There is going to be rotation going into that next game. And, well, hopefully we'll see you on the next one. I'm out.